Alrighty, well, first off, thank you for agreeing to do this.
Of course, of course.
So our first question that we have for you today is just kind of what sort of projects are you working on? And this can be both personal and professional.
Well, a personal project that I'm working on currently is myself. Definitely with the pandemic, I'm trying to get my health back together, get my fitness back together. So I've been working out more often, trying to get, my nutrition right, try to eat better, get more sunlight, go out for more walks, just trying to adjust the way that I work from home, in general. But a professional project I'm working on is I'm studying for another AWS certification for to become a solutions architect. So I'm just trying to push myself and learn more technologies that we're actually working on, that we're actually using at work, and just become better at those. So.
That's awesome. I wish I could say that I'm working out, but I'm not.
And it's okay because it took me until like June, honestly.
Really?
It took me until June to really just say, like, Tiffany, just do something, go for a walk, eat some fruit. It's okay. Drink some water.
And that's the thing. It's like I think we're all really adjusting to learning how to work from home because we don't really know how long we're going to be working from home. So it's good to develop important patterns.
Yeah. It was hard though. It was really
It's
hard.
so hard. But so the next question I just want to get into is we talked a little bit about like Black History Month and being good to yourself. So what does Black History Month mean to you?
To me, Black History Month is a time to reflect and appreciate all of the creations and inventions and just the culture that's been pioneered by Black Americans. Even though Black history, in my opinion, is something that should be celebrated, throughout the year because, Black history is embedded in America's history. I think February is just a time where we can just be really proud, especially as Black people, of our ancestors and the greatness that they've accomplished and, that we're accomplishing, in today's day and age. So go Black History Month.
Absolutely. And with that being said, talked a little bit about creations and inventions and how embedded Black people are in our American history. So, with that being said, like what Black figure is and inspires you, and that can be both past, present, or future.
Um, it took a while for me to come up with a figure because there's a lot of people, but
Mm.
personally speaking, Serena Williams is such an inspiration to me. She is one of the greatest athletes of my time, and her passion and her drive always inspired me, especially when I was playing basketball in high school. She was like my idol. She's broken so many barriers, not only in tennis, but like as a Black female athlete in general. Her presence is so strong, but like when you hear her talk, she's so soft spoken, and you can tell how much she loves her family, how much she loves her career. Um, and just seeing a Black woman personify that, just seeing, her dominate a sport for 3 decades and continue to dominate that sport. I think that's something that should be appreciated. And I've just always loved watching her play. I've always loved watching her bring the intensity. So she's definitely my idol, definitely.
Yeah,
Top.
she's amazing. Oh my gosh, such a good one. Now, the next question's a little tougher, but can you describe when you have faced racism and how you overcame it?
um, Honestly, I grew up in a very affluent area where I was one of few Black people in the classrooms, and our family was very one of the few Black people in the community. So a lot of the racism that I faced was in the form of microaggressions, where it wasn't like blatant, like them being blatantly racist, but it was little things. But there was this one instance, and ooh, it was when Barack Obama got elected.
Mm.
And I want to say I was in middle school, so I was pretty young. So I wasn't really into all the politics. I just knew we had a new Black president, or we had a president, and he was now Black. And a lot of the white kids in my class were so mad. They were so mad. And they were saying all types of, they were calling him a monkey, they called his wife
Oh
a
my
monkey,
God.
they were calling him a terrorist, and at that age I was very well aware that these were things that they were repeating. This was rhetoric that they heard from adults around them, that they had picked up on, because there's no way, that the kids that I was growing up with could just produce these things out of their mouth, out of their mind, through their imagination. Um, and I think the craziest part was there were teachers in the classroom witnessing all of that, and they didn't do anything. It was just little old me by myself listening to a bunch of, kids I grew up with calling the black man who was now the president a monkey and a terrorist and being so disrespectful. And then looking at me and saying, oh, but we're not talking about you. Like, you're different. We're not. And I'm
Like, wow.
wow, and it's not really a situation that you overcome.
Mm.
It's one of those situations where I had to sit down and really look at the people who were in front of me and see them for who they were, and see them for who their parents were teaching them to be and what society was shaping them to be. And I had to remove myself from a lot of those friend groups. I had to remove myself from a lot of those people. And already being, one of few black people at the school, in the classrooms, it does make you feel a lot more isolated because you are seeing that people aren't really as genuine as you think they are. But, now that I'm older, I can at least appreciate that I removed myself from those people, and I was mature enough to, just say those people are never going to be my friends. They're never going to see me as their equals because they can look at a black man who they don't know. They just know he's the president and then say all this stuff about him that is completely racist. So,
And
I, yeah.
it's so wild how deeply embedded this racism is. And so we talked about this. The year 2020 is and was a mess. It was really tough, and especially for the Black community. And so with that being said, what important lessons or learning points did you take away from 2020?
Um, Honestly, just to take care of myself more on all facets, not just the physical health, but like mental health, emotional health, just taking time for me and allowing myself to feel what I need to feel. I think 2020 with the pandemic, and then the Black Lives Matter protests, and Breonna Taylor, all these things were so emotionally draining. Even if you were just just being a black person in a situation, it was just kind of just draining because you're seeing so much happen around you, and then you're still trying to be professional. You're still coming to work every day, you're doing your 9 to 5, and then even that has been adjusted because now we're working from home and our hours are weird. We're trying to figure out what's going on with that. So I think I had to take a moment to actually say, Tiffany, you need a break. You need some time. Take some time off. Like my manager, my leads, they kept saying, take time, take breaks, focus on your present and the things that you can control, and just, try to keep some type of normalcy, just try to keep your day going. And it's been hard, it's been really hard, but, just day by day, just saying, take some time, be present, breathe, go for a walk, unplug if you need to, take a day off, take the half day, just do something that makes you feel like you have some type of control over your life again. And that was hard because 2020, a lot of people, especially me, feel like nothing was in our control. Everything was just happening around us and we could only just adjust. So just coming up with different patterns that I know makes me feel better, skincare routines, doing like a face mask, taking care of myself in different ways, is helpful because it makes me feel present. So that's one thing I had to learn through 2020.
Absolutely. And I think that's something often that we take for granted. Taking care of ourselves is so important. And it's I don't know about you, but I often feel guilty about doing it because like, oh, I'm working from home. I should be working. I should be grateful that I have a job, with especially
Yeah.
what something we really don't talk about is how much the Black community suffered during 2020. Not only was COVID really hitting the Black community hard when it first came out, but it was also had to do with um, the fact that people who could work from home were not Black people. Well, we're not Black. We're Black people. They can't like. These are the people that couldn't like take off work. These were our frontline workers. These were the bus drivers. These were people, the nurses. These are the people that we really depend on that
Yeah.
weren't thanked. And I don't know about you, but I felt guilty
I
about.
did too. I did too, especially because, my girlfriend worked at the hospital. She's a scribe and she was an essential worker. So she was working throughout the pandemic because, her doctor was working as well. And
Mm,
so, she's going out 6 o'clock in the morning, coming back, around 4. And I'm like sitting home, working from home. And I'm just like, I feel so guilty because I'm exhausted.
mm,
I'm mentally exhausted from just being at my dining room table, just working at my computer. And I'm like, she's actually out at a hospital with
mm.
people, making contact with people, So even that was an adjustment. Just trying not to feel guilty for me saying, I need a day.
Yes.
I need to take a break. I know you're going through it, but I'm going through it too. And, you know, I got to do something about me. So it's hard. It's a, it's so hard.
It's good to know that people are having very similar struggle.
Oh, the struggle is real.
So real. All right. So, my last question for you today is, do you have any parting advice for inspiring a younger generation who are interested in a career in tech? And this is really important, especially for like Black women in general, because you don't see a lot of Black women in tech, working in tech. So, yeah.
I will say take up the space.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like I said, I'm from an affluent area and I was in a tech academy um, for 4 years where I was the only Black person in the class and I was the only female in the class. I was the only Black female in the class. Okay. So there were a lot of classes I went through in college, while I was majoring in software engineering. There were a lot of classes that I was the only one, or there's only 2 or 3 of us, and but we were noticed. It's weird because like there's not a lot of us, but they do pay attention. They're looking for people. They're looking for you. They're looking for, Black people who are creative and who want to break the ceiling, who want to break the barriers and say, I'm good at tech. Because a lot of people are good at tech. A lot of Black people are good at engineering and just being in the field, but it's intimidating because you're not seeing a lot of people like you. You're not seeing a lot of professors, like you. So um, I definitely encourage people to reach out and join NSBE, which is the National Society of Black Engineers, if you are in engineering or in tech, because they do provide a lot of tech jobs. They provide a lot of opportunities just for people to get into Black businesses or just Black people getting their foot in the door for jobs. So that's definitely a great opportunity. But yeah, definitely just do it. There's not a lot of us, but we stick together. We do stick together and we help each other up. So
Awesome.
come to tech.
And I just learned about Nesby literally a week ago, and I was like, wow, this is so informative. And there's so many different groups that we are collectively coming together to inspire people. And that's so, so important.
It's amazing.
Fantastic. Tiffany, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Of
It's
course. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
absolutely all right.